Hello, everybody. As I've already received multiple introductions, I'm going to go and do it once more time. My name is Andrew Cassidy. I am an associate instructor over at the Wolfson campus, where I do manage the Learning Resources Facebook page. If you don't like it already, shame on each and every one of you. Please go do that. My self-worth is tied directly to the number of likes on that page. Please help me feel good about myself this weekend. Go ahead and like if you haven't already. Now, first off, I just want to talk about myself, not just because I'm egotistical and all about me, but because I want to let you know that I'm actually someone that is worth listening to when it comes to social media. I've been working with social media professionally since 2007. I started out just doing, individual communication consultant work. Just one of those things where I felt I knew a little bit more, and I started delving into it. Then I actually started getting some formalized training. I got certified with a company called HubSpot, which is the leading inbound certification that you can get. Inbound marketing, for those of you who don't know, just to be a little bit technical, inbound just means you're bringing people to you. So instead of yelling at your audience, saying, save our libraries, come to us, do this, do this, do this, it's actually kind of bringing them into the dialogue, making them want to come to you, giving them something so that they're motivated to come back to you for that service. Piquing their interest about the offerings that you have specifically, and then having them say, well, I want more, so then they come to you. And that's kind of the real goal that we want to do, because no one really likes this. We all have a cause that we stand behind, but none of us want to be yelled at. When you're going down, when you're watching TV, you're always muting the ads. When you're looking through the paper, you're always skimming past the ads. You don't want to be advertised to. So the way in which you can do that is to try and make your brand a little bit more human. In our case, we're talking about social media. All right. So, moving on. Just what is social media? So, basic definition right up there according to dictionary.com. Websites and other online means of communication that are used by large groups of people to share information and to develop social and professional contacts. And this is exactly what we want as an organization right now. We want to communicate with each other. We want to be able to communicate with the public. We want to have a nice positive image so people know that what's going on. One of the biggest issues that we face is that people don't understand how many great things we do. They know we exist, but when you say, what is a library? Most people are just like, books, and that's it. You sit behind a desk, there are books on the shelf, you make it go beep, and that's the end of your day. But as each and every one of the people in this room knows, there's a whole lot more to that. There's a whole process to being a librarian. There's a whole process to running a library. There's a process when there's staff members versus librarians. There are a bunch of events that are going on that you're hosting. There are community involvement that you're engaged in, and a lot of the time, people just don't know. So this is another nice sort of medium through which you can let the public know about these things. Now, social media is not a panacea. It cannot be the one thing that solves all of your problems. It does not, it takes a lot of time, it can take effort, it can take money. So it's something that you want to jump into. A friend of mine uses the analogy of it's like adopting a puppy. Everyone wants the puppy, everyone thinks it's fun and play, but then there's the actual maintenance of it. There's taking it out, taking it for walks, having to clean up for it. There's that really awkward initial phase where getting things off the ground and you're like, why did I ever get this? It's so much of a headache. But then eventually it grows up, it's part of the family, you love it, you love it, you love it. So that's kind of the analogy I like to use as well. So there is so much going on, and just here's a couple of stats going on. As far as things that I'd like you to pay attention to is this number right over here, which is Facebook has 1 billion active users. This is actually an older number. It has 1.3 billion as of today. So quite a lot of people are on there. So that means that you can get out there. There are people for you to engage with. Another one that I want to talk about is going to be Twitter. Right over there, you can see it says 5,700 tweets happen every second. Every second, 5,700 tweets. Some of them are completely useless, and they're just telling people that they're going to the bathroom, and we're all wishing that they would keep that to themselves. Or other people are standing up for a cause. They're tweeting about saving the libraries. They're tweeting about forming resistance. They're tweeting about their favorite TV shows. There are all these conversations that are going on, and it's up to you to be a part of it. If anyone has any questions along the way, feel free to ask, raise your hand, go nuts. All right, so there's a bunch of different social media platforms. These are the main ones that are out there, and I just wanted to kind of contextualize them in a way that everyone can understand. So I completely simplified them into the way in which I think serves best. So, as far as Twitter goes, I'm reading a book. A lot of the time people just go out there, it's an instant form of communication. They like to broadcast it. It is not narrowed down to anything. However, they can use a hashtag, which I will explain in a little bit, for those of you who don't know, to join a conversation. Facebook, which many of you might already have, or at least definitely know about. I like books. It's a place where people can engage with their brands in a very human factor. They can let people know that this is something that they're interested in. They can post on the company's wall. They can let them know how they feel about things. They can let their friends know. Very interesting statistic there is that every like that you get on a Facebook page is actually multiplied by 200. That's the average number of friends everyone has on Facebook. Don't feel bad if you don't have 200. But being that's the case, every time someone likes MindGate learning resources, that actually means that they're recommending it to everyone on their friends list. So right now we have about 680. Multiply that by 200, we're in like 136,000 areas, something like that. Not a math person, I went to communications. But anyway, that is a lot of people that you have the ability to reach. And that's what you have to keep in mind. But the big thing is this, you don't necessarily just want to be marketed to, again, you have to be engaged as a brand. All right, the next one we talk about is Foursquare. This one's very simple. It's pretty passive versus the others. Basically what you do is you register your location. So as of right now, I'm checked into the Green Library. So all of my friends know that I'm here. Now, if FIU or the Green Library specifically were to claim that location, they could let me know what's going on. Hey, you're in the Green Library, check out this exhibit going on the second floor. Hey, you're in the Green Library, next Tuesday we'll be hosting this event. And then that also lets your friends know where you are. If they keep seeing you going back and going back and going back, again, it tells them that this is a good place to be, that they have quality resources, they respect you as a friend, then they respect locations that you bring yourself to. Instagram. Here's an artistic photo of my book. A lot of people are on Instagram, and a lot of people think they're very artistic. I just posted a picture of my own presentation and posted it to Instagram. I'm hoping my friends will like it, because again, self-worth. But the big thing is this, it's strictly picture-based. There isn't a character limit like there is with Twitter. It's just telling people, hey, here's an image, and the image is supposed to do the speaking for you. Don't say pictures worth 1,000 words, pictures worth 1,000 likes. So, with any one of these, you want to be active, you want to be engaged, you don't want to just post one here, post one there. And the other thing is this, whichever one you end up picking, you want it to have value for you. Don't be on there just to be out there. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. YouTube, most of you have dealt with. Here's a video of me reading a book. This is a great opportunity for you to get out there, put up any sort of instructional videos, maybe how to use your databases. It can be something to just humanize your brand, get to know your librarians. It could be hours of operation. It could just be a silly viral video. There are a lot of videos on YouTube about libraries. And some of them are absolutely zany. There'll be public libraries, they'll get the kids, they'll get the parents, they'll do a horrible song and dance routine, and all of a sudden they have 3 million views of that video. Because it changes their perception of a librarian. Because if you think about, if you take yourselves out of the situation, and you think about the stereotype of a librarian, they're not necessarily the most fun of people, they're very factual oriented. I apologize. But, you know, unfortunately that is a public perception that you do have to overcome. And this is the way you can do that. You show that humanizing factor, that you show that, again, you're not the person just beeping behind a desk. You show all the things that you do. Maybe a quick day in the life of a librarian. Showing all the different things that you and your library are currently doing. Next is Pinterest. This is similar to Instagram insofar as it's focused primarily on images. However, what you do is the idea is basically like a tack board and cutting out magazine articles or pictures that you like and putting on the tack board because you like them. So a lot of the things, there's a real buying books up there because a lot of the things on Pinterest are actually how to bake a cake, how to make a dress, how to cultivate your lawn, what have you. A lot of it is how-to based or just single images. You can do book covers, anything like that. LinkedIn is primarily professional. This is where you go and you tell people that you're a qualified librarian. I get to go home later on today and put on that I'm in charge of marketing for DCLA, and everyone who's my friend on LinkedIn know that I now have a new level. People will know this about me. This lets the individuals that I consider friends or at least associates understand I'm being proactive in my career, things are going on. They can reach out to me in case they want to get in touch with all of you or anything like that. So it's a nice way to kind of brand yourself, but you can also put your organization up there as well. Finally, there's Google+. Google+ is very strange. Its numbers are really, really high, but they're artificially high because everyone is forced to have a Google+ account. I've joined a circle of book reading enthusiasts just because that's how they formulate it. They have circles as to which group to which everyone belongs. The actual joke of Google+ within the social media people is that, hey, I'm on Google+, along with all of the other Google employees, because that's pretty much all that use it. So it does have its own purpose. The best thing I can say about Google Plus is that it will help your search rating, meaning that when people look for you on Google, it will help bring you to the top, because those little plus ones that Google Plus uses actually do affect your score, whereas Twitter and other things like that aren't necessarily aggregated in the same way for that search engine. I know there's a lot of technical stuff, hopefully I haven't lost any of you yet, but I will kind of go over the basics, and I'll also start focusing a little bit on the more specifics here. So just again, what Twitter is Twitter and Facebook are probably the two I focused mostly on today, just because those are the two biggest. I think they're the two most applicable to this profession, which does not mean you can't jump out and get involved in any of the other ones. It just means these are the two that I probably tell you to consider most. So, from Wikipedia, the greatest of all sources, of course, right? Twitter is an online social networking and microblogging service that enables users to send and read short 140-character text messages called tweets. Who here is actually on Twitter, or anyone? Okay, a few people. Who's on Facebook, just out of curiosity? Okay, so the majority are on Facebook. Okay, so you have a little bit more of an understanding with that. Excellent. All right, so this is the breakdown of a tweet, if you're not quite familiar as to how they work. So over here, you have the actual title of the organization that's running it, or the person. Then you have what their handle is. So this is when you see the @ symbol. So you don't necessarily go out there, I can't say, oh, I'm automatically Andrew Cassidy, because someone might have already taken that name. Unfortunately, they did. So what you have to do is you have to come up with some sort of representation of yourself. And you want this to be something that represents your brand. It wants to be something that represents your library specifically. It does have a character limit. I'm not 100% sure as to what that is. But usually it's going to end up having to be some sort of abbreviation, but you want it to be something that people will know is legitimately you when they are searching for it. So that's the other factor, is that not all things are the same. There might be another group that's just a really big fan of your library that has an unofficial account attached to it, and you don't want having mixed signals going out there, so you definitely want to make sure that it's official. Next, you can see again the @ symbol right there is that they're just telling you to follow that person, meaning they want you to be updated. This is if you like their Facebook page, for those of you only on Facebook. It just gives you the updates about what they're doing in your newsfeed. The hashtag over there, what a hashtag is, it's basically the number sign, the pound sign, and the octothorpe, if you want to be super technical about it. And what it does is it's basically the name of an ongoing conversation. So a lot of you might have noticed that in television, in the bottom left-hand corner, you're now seeing a little hashtag symbol. Hashtag heroes, hashtag CNN, hashtag whatever it is you're watching. A lot of the time they have that. So that what CNN can do, what Heroes can do, which any of these shows can do, is they can now go onto Twitter, search for that hashtag, and they'll see only people talking about that show. So if you have something going on like Save Our Libraries, or if you have anything else that you know other cause, maybe it's just a day event. We had one for AFC, for those of you who were there that day. It was hashtag AFC Miami. Sometimes people want to get involved, sometimes people don't, but it gives them an opportunity to have some sort of online digital community where they can have a digital conversation about things in real time. Good? Okay. All right, so because there is a set limit of characters, 140, a lot of the time what you're going to have to do is this right here, which is a shortened URL. There are companies like Bitly, B-I-T-L-Y, and what they do is they'll take a very long URL. So if it's, you did a search or something, you're looking at a New York Times article, you'll see that it's, maybe 100 characters. What it will do is it will actually redirect from its own URL and give you a nice short one, so it doesn't take up too many characters in that 140 character limit.
How can you do that fast? I have to open up Windows, go to Bitly or Albly.
Yep, I use Albly personally, but basically what you can do to kind of speed up the process is that there are a lot of extensions that exist, primarily for Chrome and for Firefox. And what it will do is it will install a little button on the top bar. You just click that button and it automatically will give you
Anything on a tablet?
you should be able to. There's an app for Hootsuite if you want to do Albly, and you should be able to do it from there. Any other questions? Okay. All right, so next one I want to talk about is Facebook. Now, as far as Facebook is concerned, there's a big perception that Facebook, all the teens, all the young adults are fleeing and running away, scared from Facebook. This is not true in the least bit. The numbers are dominating. As you can see, 84% versus the closest, which is 44% for Google Plus, and since we all know that Google Plus is a dirty, dirty liar that just forces us to exist because we want to watch our YouTube videos, we can see that the next highest, which is Twitter, is 40%. So it's more than double the next highest truly legitimate social media platform. People are still on it, people are still engaged. I take a poll almost every day with students over at Miami-Dade College just to see who's actively involved, who still has one, who actually uses it. The numbers are still high. There is a kind of a rejection, there's the whole privacy, this and that, but a lot of that is more spoken, but in actions, most people are still on it. All right, so if you are thinking about setting up your own Facebook page, you have to think about this. There are 3 different types of profiles that you can create. You can create the actual personal profile, which is, you're a person. You tell people about yourself, you have a birthday, a birth location, you have a phone number, all these other things that make you you, and you have to tell people, you have to make friends with people. This is what all of you have, I hope. Now, as far as the page is concerned, this is just something to let you know that this is a place, this is a business, and it offers you a lot more flexibility when it comes to talking to your audience, broadcasting to your audience, and providing features on your page. Because as a library, you don't have a birthday, you don't have a gender, you can't select male or female for your library unless you're really in touch with your library. So you want to actually properly represent it. And the other type is a group. Groups primarily, I see them a lot with student organizations. You might even have your own library group going on yourselves. You could have like a group of librarians. We could have one right now that's just for DCLA. And basically it's a closed off area. You can make it private, public, needs approval, anything like that. And it's a place where everyone can go to talk, but amongst those people alone. So it's different rather than your wall, which is visible to all your friends. It's different than a page because it's not representing a business. It's basically just kind of like renting a study room and inviting only certain people to come there with you. Make sense? Okay. The thing I really like about Facebook versus the other social media platforms is the ability to add apps. Now there are online applications, some free, some not, that will allow you to kind of beef up the usage of your Facebook. It's not just getting a Facebook, being able to post pretty pictures and all this. You have to have a purpose for it. You have to make people want to come to you. And one of the ways that we do that with Miami-Dade College is that we provide apps, meaning that we allow for direct catalog access, direct database access. We also have access to Ask a Librarian, NBC Learn, scholarships for students, as well as the college's YouTube page. So that means instead of having to open up multiple windows for any one of those things, or instead of having to navigate Miami-Dade College's website, which in the past was even worse, now it's a lot easier, but it has been very difficult to actually get to these different things. And that's coming from someone who was a student at Miami-Dade College who didn't know that most of these things existed until after graduation. But giving them the opportunity to access the resources they need in the places they already are. And that's something that makes Facebook very unique. All right, so getting started. Step 1 is getting permission. So if you're part of a larger organization, if there's someone above you that you need to make sure that this is okay with, make sure you do that first. Make sure you're not breaking any of your protocols. Make sure that if you have a communications team, you speak with them. If there's a tone of voice, if there's anything that you have to abide by. Otherwise, you could get in trouble. If you take down your page, you can undo all your hard work. Make sure that they're involved, even just as a courtesy, because they will appreciate it. It'll make your life a lot easier. All right, next is figure out the goals of your organization. Why do you want to get on Facebook? Just because everyone's there is not a good enough reason. You have to be able to offer them something. Like I said earlier, when you're being advertised to, a lot of the time it's annoying. But sometimes there are those ads where you just hop on the computer, you go to the store, and you're just like, I really want to check that out. Because somehow they were able to tailor it in such a way that you just created general interest, and again, you went to them. That's the whole inbound concept. You going to them, and then in this case, bringing them to you rather than dragging them into your libraries. The next step is to determine which platform is best suited for your needs. And again, this comes back to the goals. So we figure out what those goals are. You go over the list that I provided you and any others that you'd like to look at. And then you figure out which one of these is best suited for helping me actualize that goal. After that, you want to create a social media policy. And what that would mean would be to create a policy in which all the guidelines are created, meaning that anyone who has access to the social media account will be able to know if there's a tone of voice, if there are certain things you're allowed to post, if there's certain things you're not allowed to post. Also, rules for people who post under law. Miami-Dade College is very strict about what people are allowed to post. There's a certain level of freedom of speech, and then it's like, no, you're not allowed to go off on hateful rants. No, you're not allowed to advertise your dry cleaning. So there's certain, you have to come up with your own guidelines. You can post that again directly to Facebook for people to look at, so they can't say they didn't know. And then that way you can protect yourself, you can protect your users, and you can protect your patrons at your library.
Is it time consuming to police that?
Not usually. I mean, it depends how active the library is. I've had to deal with, I think, 3 in almost a year, so we're lucky. But my college as a whole has to deal with a whole lot more. And that is another danger of social media, is the fact that just because you're on there doesn't mean everyone's going to tell you how much they like you. Maybe someone comes to your library and they tell they didn't really like the service that they got. Maybe it's a justified complaint. Maybe this person's absolutely crazy. Doesn't matter. They might go on there. They might say a lot of things. And I will tell you this, Twitter is the one that is most likely to give you the negative feedback. It's great because you can react very quickly to it if you have someone monitoring it. So if someone goes off on a rant, I really don't like your library, blah, 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 blah. They never have the books I like. Well, you can just address that right then and there, but you also have to think about how you're going to address that. Are you just going to say sorry, or are you going to say, hey, please stop saying bad things to me, or are you going to try and use that and spin it, which is when you get really good at it, and then you can try and say, we completely agree with you, this is unfortunate. Unfortunately, our budgets are being cut in the libraries. Here's a link, please go right to your local congressperson and have them give us money because we want to be the place that has the resources for you.
Is there any risk of legal charges of defamation or anything like that?
I mean, from your side, from the library side?
Yeah. If somebody posts something.
No, I mean, well, that's why you create the policy. You say, like, we're not responsible for whatever other people write or something like that. And I can show you an example. It's usually about a paragraph. It's very short. It's not that legal or anything like that. But it's basically just something that absolves you to say, hey, we're allowed to police this. If you're saying something that's mean or unjustified, you can delete it. And that's about it. And that, again, that's the other nice thing about Facebook versus Twitter. Facebook allows you to deal and delete those comments, whether it be your own, you mistype something, or someone else's, and they're writing hateful things on your wall, whereas Twitter is permanent. If you delete it off your page, it is out there for the rest of forever. So don't always think before you tweet, especially if you're hoping to have a political career, because it will be fun. All right. Next is to select someone to manage. Now, you don't necessarily have to be raised on social media to be a great social media person. What you need to do, though, is you have to be passionate about it. It does take time, and again, it does take a lot of effort in the beginning to grow it. You have to really want it to be something if you are to undertake this challenge. But if you can do that, you can learn a lot of this as you go, and there are a lot of free programs out there that can help you learn even more. Oh, sorry. The next one I want to talk about is brand recognition. Now, there are a lot of libraries out there. I did some searches on Twitter and Facebook, and they basically don't let you know, as I was speaking earlier, that they are the legitimate library. And you sometimes hope that they aren't the legitimate library because they're so bad. They show a picture, a really close-up picture of maybe like the doorway, which only if you've been to that one, or that specific branch, you know it was that doorway. Or they'll have a picture that's that's missing, or they'll have a picture of someone's face, or something that just doesn't let you know. Now you want to have, if you have a logo for your library, then you want to put that out there so people can look at that little small thumbnail, and when they see it, they go, oh, of course, this is the one I want to go to. And then if you have like a timeline photo or something larger on top, depending if it's, what kind of a social media company, you want that to be something that, again, just screams, this is the right place that I'm supposed to be at right now. And here's an example I found. These are both part of the New York Public Library system. This is called the New Dorp Library. I picked it solely because the name New Dorp is hysterical to me, but also because their actual profile pictures you can see over here is a Lego representation of the library, which you can't really make out. This is giant. Imagine it like smaller than your fingernail, in a long list. And then, as you can see, this area right here, the file's missing, and no one's done anything to change it. Now, what makes this even worse is that people are actively using this. So on July 16th, someone actually was using this. But even though they saw that this was an error, they didn't actually do anything to fix it. Whereas the actual main site for the New York Public Library has their logo, the lion, has the logo again at the top, and has the actual text, this is what it is. And once you're a big enough organization, you get that cool little check mark right there, which is Twitter verified as being real. Don't count on that right now because you have to have a lot of people in a really big organization in order to get that. This is just to show you the difference. Again, both part of the same organization, but very, very different feel if you're looking for your library.
So you can only get that certification based on, you have a certain amount of followers?
Yeah, basically you have to be a celebrity, and even B-list celebrities don't get it. It's like you're not important enough. And then finally is to complete your profile page. It's going to ask you for a phone number, address, all of that information. Put it all in there, not only to help the people who get there find the information they're looking for, but because there's that also helps people find you. People can type in your phone number and they can find you just through via the phone number. They can find you via location, because Twitter, Google, Facebook, they actually do a lot of location services to kind of help figure out what you mean. So we'll point you to libraries that are near you. So all that helps you get found, which is what you want. All right, I already spoke a little bit about this, basic inbound marketing. The first thing is determine your customer persona, which just means basically, who is it that you're making this for? Are you working with children? Are you working with adults? Are you working with the elderly? Are you working with all of the above? Are you working with people of a certain type? You have to really figure out who it is you're marketing to, because again, don't think just, oh, I like this, so it's good. Think about providing something that the people you're trying to get involved will like. So you'll want to just take a minute, figure out who it is that you're talking to, and then make sure that your message matches up to that specific group. After that, there's a rule called 10-4-1, which basically means that, and this will actually take some of the pressure off you as well. Out of every 15 posts, doesn't matter which sort of social media platform you want to use, it's been found to work the best. 10 of those are going to be other people's work. So you're like, hey guys, it's a really cool article. This was one that we found about napping stations at the Michigan Library. People loved it, they were crazy about it. Everyone's like, oh, we should have it. Oh no, it's a terrible idea. All people snoring while studying. But it got people interested. You know, it has something that relates to them, and it's something that we grabbed from out there. Then the 4 is something where it's your own content. You're pushing some ideas that you have out there. Again, these aren't sales pitches. These are just, hey, look what we did. Over here we have one of the librarians from Wolfson campus, and she's just making a book recommendation. We took her picture, and every time we had people, the librarians posting pictures of themselves, it was supremely successful. We had people asking for the books afterwards. And again, it has that great way of humanizing your Facebook page. And finally, you have the number 1, which is usually a call to action. You're trying to get people involved. You're trying to get people to do something. This was a film festival that we were running with Shakespeare, and we just invited people to come in, like, hey, you gotta come here. I mean, literally we're asking people to go to a free event with free food, but you know, we wanted to make sure that they did something. We're actually asking them to do something. That's when it's that 1. So again, 10 things that are kind of just general ideas, 4 things that are, you know, your own creation, so you don't get lost in just promoting other people's things, and finally that call to action where you're telling them to get involved. This won't always be the case. You know, certain weeks will show up and you have a ton of events, but this is the ideal, so try and keep it close to this whenever you can. All right, so growing your digital presence. I invented a word last night called metagrowth. I like it. So basically what I mean by metagrowth is using social media to grow your social media. Now, one way to do this is to incentivize, which is to give them a reason to like you, to give them a reason to come to your page. One thing that we did was a scavenger hunt in which we had books. We put a ticket inside of a book, and we hid it in the libraries of different campuses. The event was completely online, and we gave out clues slowly through social media, Facebook and Twitter, to let people know, you know, a little bit of hints to find the book. And then at the end of it, if they were able to piece the clues together, they'd get a gift bag with, you know, vouchers, Miami College swag, what have you. So if you have anything lying around, mugs, and you want to give people a chance to try and get something, and you know, encourage that engagement. That's one way to do it. The other thing is this, additional platforms don't necessarily equal that it's a better idea. So if you have one of everything, that doesn't mean you're the ace at social media. It's better to do one well than to have many not doing well. There are a lot of Facebook pages out there, there are a lot of Twitter accounts where the last post was 3 years ago. And that looks terrible. It looks worse than not even having one, truthfully, because it says that you're not really interested. It usually means you have a summer intern who left you and now no one knows what to do. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you stay involved. A lot of the time what we'll say is, you know, post once a day. If that's too much, try to post, you know, at least a couple times a week, because you want to make sure that you're constantly being heard, that you're giving people an opportunity to engage with you. Now, the next thing you can do is just simple grassroots. You can do print advertising. You can include a link to your Facebook, Google+, what have you, in your email signature, in your LibGuide. You can also do email blasts if you ever get, you know, people to sign up during your events, or if it's required, if they put them to a library card or anything like that. You have these email lists. Let them know that you're online. Let them know that they have another opportunity opportunity to engage with you outside of their coming directly to the library. After that, we have direct mail. Obviously, you can just, it's one of the cheapest forms. You can get some sort of flyers made, put it out yourselves. Even if you just have it available as a handout at your front desk. Again, just giving people the idea, letting them know that you exist. Facebook, unfortunately, is a little bit evil, and that meaning that they are a business, and you can't fault them for that. Nothing's for free. So what they've been doing recently is that the pages, they decided they wanted to get money. And the way they've been kind of forcing you to try and get money is that they've been lowering the reach, meaning how many people actually get to see what it is you post. Just because you have 500 followers doesn't mean that everyone gets to see them. There's an algorithm they determine based off of how interesting what it is that you've written, based off of whether or not people have engaged with you in the past, what time of the day it was, what your other interests include, and a lot of the time it ends up coming down to about 15% or something like that. But Facebook, wanting to get more money from advertisers, has been slowly decreasing that number. So this is why you need that meta growth. This is why you need that grassroots, because otherwise you do have to pay for it. It can cost as much as you want to put into it. There's no set price, but it does cost money. They have a program called Facebook Ads.
On one platform, on the phone it will say seen by, on a computer it will say served to. Is there a difference?
Yes. Seen by is the actual number of people that interacted with it. They paused for a moment, they clicked on it, something like that. Whereas sent to means that it went out to those people that didn't necessarily see it.
Served to.
Yeah. So it served to you. It's like I gave you, a 3-piece meal that you didn't eat the last course.
But like I don't choose that. That was what they showed me.
Yeah.
On in different.
It depends because there's a whole way of going through it. Luckily, there is a program that they have called Facebook Studio Edge. It is completely free. You can just sign up for it, and it'll give you the basic rundown of both how to manage your page, as well as how to do the advertisements should you so choose. But the advertisements are a little bit more technical because you have to pick this, again, the demographic, go back to that persona, who it is you're trying to market to, what's the age range, where do they live, anything like that. And that's where that serve to you comes up. As well. So it might be, they think these are the people who want to see it, but maybe only 70% of those people actually do want to see it.
It's really all over the place.
I've
seen where something that I thought was very relevant got 60, seen by 60, and then a picture of a librarian got over 1,000.
Yeah, that happens too. Again, the humanizing factor people like a lot. Just a quick example from yesterday. We had a late book returned to the Wolfson Library. It was taken out in the late 1980s. And it was shipped to us from Finland. Someone spent 10.5 euros to get us a book that was taken out in the late 1980s. And we just put that up there because we thought it was like the strangest thing that could ever happen. And that, I think, might be one of our #1 posts of all time. Because people they like it. And it's not just the people that you'd expect. It's not just the librarians that we have involved. It's not just the staff or Miami-Dade people. Like, I see people from my own friends list who might not even like the page, and they're still seeing it because, again, the way that the Facebook algorithm works is that if other people like it, on your friends list, it'll show it to you like maybe you like this too. Very, very detailed, complex, and yes.
We tried something called Thunderclap.
Didn't work?
We got like 5 likes from it.
Yeah.
Trying to get 100 people to allow them to get the username and password in order to take one message one time and blast it to all of their friends. It was in the 100,000.
Yeah, there are other services.
5 likes.
We can talk after. I'll let you know about some other ones that are a little bit more precise that I personally use over that. Then finally, there's Google AdWords. This is something for it's for search engine optimization. It's whenever you go and do a Google search, there'll be something on top or something on the side. And that's kind of that preferred presence that Google does. Again, another paid service. All right, so getting down to the end of it, social media management. So first thing is something I already mentioned several times, which is give people a reason to like or follow you. Just because you exist, just because you are a place where they can get books, just because you are a location where you have some fond childhood memories, that's good and well, but it doesn't necessarily make you want to do that. It doesn't necessarily make you want to like or follow that organization. You have to provide value. You have to give them something that would make them want to like you. You have to tell them about events that they would be interested in, give them tips that maybe would help them. If you're running some sort of like a tax workshop or something at your library, if it's voting season, get them to understand, get them to be involved, host events, you know, get a public speaker to come in, get anyone to come in where you can have an event people would want to make sure that they didn't miss out on the next one. So they make sure they like you, they follow you, so they're always in the know as to what's going on with your organization. The next thing is this: what you post does matter. Again, saying that same 10-4-1 rule, you want to be able to post unique things. So things that are they're only going to find there. I made this silly little koala who's shocked that there's an advanced search that actually went out today on our page. And it's something that relates back to the library, because you don't want to just give them clickbait, meaning like you don't want to just put pictures of baby animals on there so people like you. You want to put things that actually relate back to your library that go into our organization. So this one was paired with speak to our librarians about all the, how to use advanced search to better refine your results and get the information that you need. Something cute and funny, but it also relates back to the real message, which is, hey, we exist, we're here for you, we can make things easier for you, just ask. The next thing is being timely. So we posted this about, posted this about FIFA and the whole World Cup that was going on, and we just said, hey, we're ready for it. Unfortunately, I had to superimpose that soccer ball there because we don't have a soccer ball in the office. And then we just let everyone know, like, hey, we're ready for it. Are you ready for it? And people would let us know what teams they're rooting for, and whether, just the fact that we're a part of that. We're joining the conversation. As you can see right there, hashtag World Cup. Hashtags exist on Facebook as well. And then you can join that conversation so that when people are looking up things about the World Cup, maybe they'll see scores, but then all of a sudden, they just saw the Miami-Dade College learning resources and like, well, that's crazy, books and this, well, I like reading this, maybe they'll like the page now too. You're joining those existing conversations. Today, I think in 1 hour, we're gonna have a post going out regarding Nelson Mandela's birthday. So again, just staying on top of the calendar, knowing what's going on in the world, and being able to join that conversation that's already existing. Finally, you want to be relevant. You want to make sure that what it is you're talking has to do with that buyer persona, with your clients, with the patrons that come to your library. So being that we deal with students primarily, or exclusively, we post things about scholarships very frequently. We let students know that there are financial opportunities for them, and here's how to apply. So we engage them on that level. This way they can go out, they can find things that are pertinent to them, and they feel that they have a reason to keep coming back. All right, the next thing is monitoring and engagement. So let's say you do post something and it doesn't do well. You expected it to do really well. Then you post something else and then it does do really well. Try and figure out why. People are getting more and more visual, so pictures end up doing a lot better on social media rather than just text. So if you can post a video, if you can post a picture, people really like that. So if you can find a picture that's engaging, that relates back to what it is that they like, that will usually do a lot better than just plain text or even a link. The good thing is that Facebook does offer free analytics for your Facebook page, which is a really, really nice thing that thank God I haven't started charging for yet. But here you have it as an overview. They'll tell you about the likes, your reach, your visits, the posts, and people, which means they'll tell you how well your posts have done. They'll tell you the demographic of people that they're reaching, that you know if it's male or female, what age group is interacting most with your page. And this way, plus you can figure out which one, like which group you may need to better include. Maybe you're doing really well with young adult women, but you're not doing well with adult men. Well, maybe you can try and tailor your content to make sure that everyone feels involved. And this kind of can keep you on your toes to let you know that you're keeping it balanced for everyone, or maybe you're just targeting one group a little bit too much. And then finally, the big thing is this: you have to be human. Yeah, that's you, all of you. Male and female, doesn't matter. The purpose of this. But what you really need to do is you need to be human. You need to be able to engage. Think about yourself as the client. What is it that you really want? If you are upset with a brand, do you want to just yell at the wall? Or do you want them to respond? I tweet at MDT, the transit people, all the time. They drive me insane, they make me late for work, I get in trouble, it's terrible. So I'll yell at them, I'll say, hey, what's going on? No one's letting us know. I was stuck on the train for 30 minutes and we haven't heard anything from the conductor, what's going on? What infuriates me even more than being stuck there is the fact that no one has ever responded to me once in a year.
Wow.
No one has ever responded to me once. And I think my tone started out a little bit nicer too. But knowing that they won't respond, but I'll get other people, but the problem is this: if you don't treat it what will happen is I'll get other people tweeting to me, yeah, I know, I'm on the same train, this is terrible, what's going on, and it creates this horrible problem. Whereas if someone just said, we're so sorry for the inconvenience, there was an incident there, we're keeping you between stations for safety reasons, we'll let you know what's going on. And a lot of transit companies are like that outside of Miami. They'll let you know what's going on. And that, you feel appreciated. I've complained about Comcast before, and they'll get right on you because they can use all the positive press they can get. And they'll just come to you and, oh, we're so sorry, what's going on? I've had multiple people call my house. Really quick response time. Still don't like Comcast, but I feel better about them with those specific issues when they're more rapidly engaging because they're addressing my problem as a real problem and they're doing it in a timely fashion, which is where the monitoring comes in, again, the passion. It's not just that you know about it, but it's that you're passionate enough to be checking in every now and then. People can wait a few minutes, a few hours, it's fine. If you go on for 2 weeks and you don't respond, then that person's probably going to tell a lot of other people that they're unhappy and about that as well. And then again, have fun with it. This, I know, was really dense. I tried to consolidate all of social media in a very short period of time. I'm more than happy to speak with each and every one of you afterwards. If you're thinking about something, you want more specific details, I tried to make sure that there was the introductory part for those of you who are less aware or less familiar with everything, as well as the more detailed part for those of you who are already online. But the big thing is this, again, be human, care about the people that you're trying to show yourselves to, keep them in mind, because again, it's about them, it's not about you, and then have fun with it. If you can do all of that, you will be successful. Of course, you can always call me. Okay.